Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullah. My topic is Chapter 14, Theories of Moral Development. Definition of morality first. Morality is the ability to distinguish right from wrong. Okay. It is also the ability to act on distinction, okay, or the ability to experience pride when one does the right thing, and guilt or shame when one does not. With this definition, we have three basic components of morality. First is affective or emotional component, or in layman's term, or in other words, this is the on this component, someone subjectively experience feelings. Next component of morality is cognitive component. On this component, you have the thoughts, achievement, goals, and expectations. Next component of morality is behavioral component. On this one, the way, the attitude we have influences on how we act or behave. That is the three basic components of morality and definition of morality. Next, we have theories of morality. First is Piaget's theory of character development. It came from Jean Piaget, 1965. He was the first psychologist to suggest a theory of moral development. According to Piaget, development emerges from action, and people construct and reconstruct their knowledge of the world as a result of interaction with environment. Okay? So, it's somewhat like symbiotic relationship on my personal opinion. And also, Piaget suggested that people pass through three qualitatively different stages of moral reasoning. Okay, again, morality is the ability to distinguish right from wrong, the ability to act distinction, and the ability to have those feelings, okay, of pride and other feelings, guilt. Okay? The first Piaget's first stage of character development, theory of character development, is moral realism. In this stage, children tend to have a clear sense of right and wrong. Okay? Alam na nung bata yung right and wrong. Okay? Although they believe that there is typically only one right answer to every situation. Okay? They tend to trust adults at this stage and no question on an adult's moral judgment. That's why we have this saying na sa mata ng bata, lahat ng ginagawa ng matanda ay tama. Okay? At this stage, children tend to believe in moral absolutes and tend to only see a situation from their limited perspective. Okay? Bakit limited? Okay? Why it is limited? When a child, on my own perspective, I'm talking about my own perspective, my own opinion. on this Piaget's first stage. Ang bata kasi, a child is innate na yung pagiging scientist sa niya. Why? Sasabihin mo sa bata, oy, wag yan, marumi yan. Although, hindi pa alam ng bata na marumi yun. So, pag hinayaan mo yun, malalaman yan, talagang marumi yun. Di ba? Okay? Or, for example, sa pala ng kewata, kasi mahuhulog yung salamin, tapos mababasag. Sabi mo, mababasag mo yan. Pero hindi niya alam ano yung mababasag. Until nahulog yung salamin, so doon niya pa malalaman yung tinatawag na basag. Okay? Or broken. Nagiging, yung isip kasi ng bata is namumulat kung ano ang nakikita niya. Okay? Or anong vocabulary yun magagamit doon. Di ba? Okay? That's my own opinion. But moral realism, sabi ni Piaget. First stage. Second stage of Piaget's theory of character development is morality of reciprocity. Okay? Before we continue about morality of reciprocity, in some principle, we have reciprocity principles. Okay, we will define reciprocity. Reciprocity is something like give and take. Okay, kung meron ako dito, meron ka din doon. Kung nandun ako, or kung dito ka, meron ako nung sa'yo. Parang ganun. We have this reciprocal. Okay, reciprocal, example in terms of mathematics, a reciprocal is ginagamit mo kapag magmo-multiply ka ng fraction, which is yung denominator mo. Yung denominator mo doon sa multiplicand is babalik na rin mo. Okay? Yung nasa baba na yung denominator mo, pupunta doon sa taas, tapos yung numerator mo, pupunta sa baba ng fraction. So, si numerator, naging denominator. Si denominator, naging numerator. That is what we call reciprocal. Okay. So much for that. In this stage, children begin to understand that rules and regulation are formed through negotiation. Okay? That's what I said, na reciprocity, na kung meron yun, meron din ako, parang ganon. Or meron dun sa kabila, na ganitong rules, sa akin meron din. So, parang nagni-negotiate kami yung nagni-negotiate rather, yung dalawang parties. Okay? Children learn that rules can be changed and they see the world through the eyes of other people. They are able to comprehend that there may be more than one right answer. They believe that punishment should act as restitution for immoral acts. Okay? So, merong punishment for every immoral acts on this second stage of Piaget's theory. Okay? They begin to use logic and hypothesis at this stage. Okay? Bright na yung bata at this stage of character development. Next is Piaget's third stage, mature adult thinking. Okay? Mature adult thinking. Alam na nung bata yung mga dapat na malaman niya. Okay? In this stage, many different moral issues are addressed through practical decision making. People at this stage, the ethics of cooperation and complexity of moral issues are better understood. Okay? That's Piaget's theory of character development from first stage to last stage. Okay, again, Piaget's first stage, moral realism. Okay. Piaget's second stage, morality of reciprocity. Piaget's third stage is mature and adult thinking. Then next we have Colbert's theory of character development. Okay. Lawrence Colbert in 1899 also developed a theory about the stages people pass through in developing moral thinking. Colbert believed that people could only progress through the stages one at a time and they could not skip a stage. Okay? Hindi pwede na mabuntis ka walang tatay. Okay? Parang ganun ang ibig niya sabihin na step by step. Ano ka, Virgin Mary? Okay? So, or, let me correct myself. Okay? Hindi pwede na mabuntis ka na wala kayong ginawang biological event. Okay? Okay? Meron dapat yung man and a woman do something that makes it na mabuntis siya. Okay? Okay? So, parang gano'n ang example ko nitong one step. Hindi ka pwede mag-skip na Virgin Mary ka, okay? Para mabuntis ka. Okay? Not skip a stage. He believed that there were 6 identifiable stages that could be classified into 3. Okay? Yung 6 na yon, gawin lang natin 3. Okay? Okay, we have Colbert's pre-conventional level. Tama ba ang ano niya? Colbert's or whatever. But basta yan ang pagkakabasa ko. Colbert's pre-conventional level. In the first stage, people behave according to socially acceptable norms because they are told to do so by some authority figure. Okay, yeah, that's pre-conventional level. Hence, or therefore, obedience is attained by the threat or application of punishment. Okay? That's Colbert's pre-conventional level. Okay? The second stage is characterized by view that moral behavior is acting in one's own best interest. In this stage, people conform to society's rules in order to receive rewards. Okay? Sumunod sa batas trapiko para hindi mahuli. Okay? Or makuhang lisensya. That's meron tayong society rules para ma-receive ng awards. Okay, that's Colbert's pre-conventional level. Next is Colbert's conventional level. The third stage is characterized by people wanting to do what will gain the approval of others. Okay. Parang may boss ka dito. Okay. The third is characterized by people wanting to do what will gain the approval of others. Okay, parang inaano mo kung tinitingnan mo yung sarili mo na approve ba ito sa kanila or what does it mean, Ma'am Hatch? Okay? The fourth stage is characterized by abiding with the law and responding to one's duty as the fourth stage is characterized by abiding with the law and responding to one's duty as a citizen. When this happens, people avoid censure and guilt. Okay? This is about law-abiding citizen. Okay? That's it. Next is Colbert's post-conventional level. Okay? The fifth stage is an understanding of social welfare and a genuine interest in other people. Okay? The sixth stage is based on respect for universal principle and requires people to be guided by their own individual conscience. Okay? So, according to Wiley in 1998, how is character education different? Wiley believes that character education is different from other forms of academic and moral education. In that, character education describes and prescribes what is meant by right and wrong, good and bad, and ways people can behave in morally good ways. It is intentional, conscious, planned, proactive, organized, and reflective rather than being assumed, unconscious, reactive, subliminal, or random. Okay. Next is we have Toriel's domain theory. By the way, who is Elliot Toriel? He is American psychologist, doctor in psychology from Yale University, Chancellor Professor of Graduate School Education at University of California, Berkeley, on human development in relation to education, social and moral judgment, culture arrangement, and influences by Jean Piaget, and he studied with Lawrence Colbert. His domain theory, frameworks for moral decision, moral issues versus conventional issues. Moral issue on his study is maintaining rights, not hurting people, or being fair. That's moral issue. And conventional issue is societal rule. Okay, you're being mingling. Okay, mingle to society. That's conventional issue to electoral. Critic, his critic, many domain findings do not contradict Piaget. Both Piaget and Thorel theorize that moral decisions are predicted by objective responsibility. Claim research has not shown that children qualitatively distinguish between conventional and moral issues. Most domain theory research did not take into account the children's difficulty in evaluating intentionality. Some cultures do not distinguish between manners and morals. Classroom applications focus on basic accepted morals, not values particular to an individual community. Use of universal morals prevents crossover into religious teaching or criticism of religion. Teach domain appropriate morality. Example, dress code is not a moral issue. It's a conventional issue. Focus student activity based on domain. Okay. Next, we have Carol Gilligan and the morality of care. Okay? Her morality of care. Okay? Carol Gilligan, focus naman siya sa babae. Kasi yung kay Colbert at kay Piaget is more on lalaki. Okay, more on lalaki. More on lalaki, mga puti. Okay, white man. Sabi niya, women must learn to deal to their own interests and to the interests of others. She thinks that women hesitate to judge because they see the complexities of relationship. Sorry to say this. Parang yung babae daw pag walang makeup, parang insecure na mas maganda yung kapitbahay niya or yung ano. So that's why they are wearing makeup. Okay? That's my own opinion, okay? And please respect it. Okay? Thank you. Then we have Gilligan's stage of ethic of care. We have stage niya is first we have conventional, and the goal of this stage is individual survival in pre-conventional. We have transition is from selfishness to responsibility to others. That's pre-conventional to transition. Next, we have conventional. The goal of this conventional stage is self-care. Self-sacrifice rather is goodness. Then transition from goodness to the truth that she is a person too. Okay? Tao rin ako. Marunong masaktan. Okay? Next is post-conventional principle. Principle of non-violence, do not hurt others or self. Okay. Again, transition is from goodness to truth that she is a person too. Nasasaktan din ako. Tao lamang ako. Nasasaktan din. Okay? Post-conventional, principle of non-violence, do not hurt others or self. Okay? Parang iba or sarili. Okay? Again, pre-conventional, person only cares for themselves in order to ensure survival. This is how everyone is as children. In this transitional phase, the person attitude is considered selfish and the person sees the connection between themselves and others. Next is conventional. On this, we have responsibility, more care shown for other people. Gilligan says this is shown in the role of mother and wife. Okay, responsibility. Situation sometimes carries on to ignoring needs of self. Okay, that's conventional. In this transitional phase, tensions between responsibility of caring for others and caring for self are phased. Okay. Yeah, next we have post-conventional. Acceptance of the principle of care for self and others is shown on post-conventional. Some people never reach this level. Okay? And we have this chart of Gilligan's stage of ethic of care, levels and characteristic. From level 1, orientation to individual survival, or this is individual survival, levels and characteristic. First transition, selfishness to responsibility, connection and responsibility to others. Level 2, we have goodness as self-sacrifice, and reliance on others, social acceptance. Second transition, goodness to truth, questioning comparative value of self versus others. Level 3, morality of non-violence. Heightened understanding of choice between own needs and care for others. Do not harm others or self. Okay? So, tatlong beses tatlong beses ko parang diniscuss or let us say binasa. Okay? So that's morality of care by Carol Gilligan. And the next topic will be chapter 15. Okay? So before we end this, I'm giving it I'm giving this to you because of lack of moral principle, human life becomes worthless. Moral principle, truthfulness is a key factor. If we lose that, then there is no future. By Dalai Lama. That would be all. Shukran. Wassalamu alaikum warahmatullahi